Hi, welcome to Regan Real Reviews. My name is Kathleen Regan. I am a writer, filmmaker, and actor, and I watch a lot of movies and TVs, so you don't have to, or you might want to. There are spoiler alerts in here because I don't know what spoils one thing for one person and not for the other, so watch at your own risk. Before I get into the two series that we're going to go over today, one which is the Monster series, Ed Gein, and the other one is Woman in Cabin 10, I want to do two shout outs. One is there are a lot of times where I find out about a new series coming out or a new show, or even one I remember from a couple of years ago, and I don't know what streaming it's on now. I don't know if I get that streaming. I don't know where it is. Just Watch. JustWatch.com. I use that for everything. So check it out if you don't know where the TV series or movie is being played. Check it out on there and it'll give you all the information. The other one is a shout out to Tubi. Tubi is a free streaming right there. I love Tubi. I tell my friends I'm a Tubi girl. Listen, they have got just a wonderful selection, endless selection of movies, TVs, old TV shows. Now, do they have the latest thing? No, they don't. But they have these categories down the left-hand side that are just great. I mean, they have the action category, the comedy, blah, blah, blah. But they have unique ones like comedies of the 80s. They have based on a true story, based on the book, Academy winners, taken off too soon, TV series that we probably should have kept on longer, but we didn't. Now, I love Tubi, and my personal movie that I co-wrote, co-produced, and star in, yes, that's a shameless plug, Godless Children, is out on Tubi as well. But Tubi, if you're listening, I would like to create my own categories. I would like to have a category that says ugly cry, right? Or raining outside and I'm pissed at the world. Like, I want to create my own categories, but shout out to Tubi. If you haven't downloaded it, do it. Okay, so two things we're going over today. The first one is the latest installment in the Monster series by Ryan Murphy, and this one is about Ed Gein. There's some other Monster installments as well, series as well. One was Dahmer, and one was also based on the Menendez brothers case. So Ed Gein, I give it 3 reels, and I'll tell you why. So Charlie Hunanan plays Ed Gein, this serial killer murderer, right? Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan are the creators and the showrunners of this. Now, I love Ryan Murphy. I love almost everything he does. Look him up. He has his hand in everything. He's brilliant in my mind. He's one of those people out there that, maybe I envision them when they're sitting around the table pitching his ideas. Some people are like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this Ryan Murphy, but it works. It usually always works. And the Menendez brothers series, that I watched it 3 times. Okay, I watched it 3 times. The Dahmer one, it was tough to get through. It was very good, but it was tough to get to just because of the nature of the crimes. The Ed Gein was a serial killer who was born in 1906. He grew up with his strict mother. When I say strict, I'm not saying like, your curfew's at 9 p.m. I'm talking like sadistically strict. The mother in this series is played by Laurie Metcalf, who, in my opinion, can do no wrong. Okay, my dream is to see her on Broadway. She is a Broadway darling. She's actually coming out with a Broadway show now. I would love to see her. For those of you who don't know her, her most familiar role, unfortunately, is the sister of Roseanne on Roseanne on Roseanne, the TV series. But she's an incredible actor, and follow her career a little bit. Go back and look at her stuff, and you won't be let down. Anyway, so Ed Gein has a strict mother, like beyond strict, like sadistically strict, right? And she dies. And of course, he being like this weird kind of grown up, sadistically kind of troubled, he digs her body up, keeps her upstairs, and he does all these things to try to please his mother, right? All of a sudden, he gets this idea that some killer, apparently in Germany during the awful war, and that they would take the skin and body parts and make household items from them. So Ed Gein, being the follower that he is, he decides to do this. So he makes things like his favorite set of bowls that he, probably doesn't eat Cheerios out of, but his favorite set of bowls are skulls. He even stretches the skin over a chair so people can sit down. I mean, very useful, but not very pleasant. his character, Ed Gein, was the inspiration for a couple movies. So Norman Bates in Psycho, Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs, which is personally my favorite film. I've seen it like 15 times. So this Ed Gein was so out there and so crazy in the things that he did in his mind that spawned a lot of movies. Charlie Hunanan plays him perfectly. No, I don't know Ed Gein, so he maybe as people say his voice, Charlie Hunanan put on a voice that really wasn't Ed Gein's. I don't know, who knows, but it works. It totally works. I really hope that the world of Hollywood sees Charlie Hunanan in a different light in this, and gives him a lot more roles based on this. The only time I was taken away from, oh my God, that's Charlie Hunanan playing a serial killer, is when he stood there pretty much naked except for some, parts. And that kind of brought me out a little bit. But he's fantastic in this. Of course, Laurie Metcalf is great. I think the direction is great. The reason I give it 3 stars is because I don't follow it all the way. Okay, Ryan Murphy has a way of kind of jumping back and forth in time, which is fine. He does that with Menendez Brothers, and I totally appreciated it. This one, it's almost jumping back between what's reality and what's not, right? And it's to give an insight to to Ed Gein's mind, and I get that. But at some point as an audience member, and maybe this was deliberate, I didn't know what was real and what wasn't. And I didn't know how they connected all the time. There was this bright green color, and you see it on the poster and everything. It shows up in scenes that I thought were real scenes, and you're like, now is this like weird bright green color showing up in some place that it shouldn't be, and is this a real, or is this his imagination? So I'm having trouble following it. I haven't finished it yet. I will finish it because it's Ryan Murphy and Charlie Hunanan and Laurie Metcalf. But I'm really having difficulty following it, and when there is so much that I don't know what is real, then I don't feel invested in the story or in the plot or in the characters. So that's why I give it 3 stars. I do hear that Ryan Murphy could be coming out with the next one in the series, and this is supposed to be on Lizzie Borden. And for those people that don't know Lizzie Borden, way back when, and she chopped her parents up with an axe. And for all those youngins out there, we Gen Xers and older had a nursery rhyme based on Lizzie Borden. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks, and when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Yep, those are the nursery rhymes we grew up with. So again, Ed Gein, the Monster series, give it 3 stars. 3 reels. Woman in Cabin 10. It's a psychological thriller. I give it, don't hate me for this, I give it 0 reels. I really tried to find something. My mother said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I tried. Maybe, there's a shining light that Keira Knightley, I love Keira Knightley, but no. This is about a traveler that stumbles onto a gruesome secret while traveling aboard a luxury cruise ship. That's what it says on IMDb, but I really didn't get that at all. Okay, so basically what it's about is that there's this travel writer, Keira Knightley, and she comes back into her job supposedly from arrest, and we don't know what the arrest is from. Like, did something traumatic happen? We don't know. She gets invited to this cruise ship, but it's a luxury cruise yacht, really, based on this huge very wealthy woman who's a philanthropist, and she's dying of cancer, and she asks Keira Knightley, the journalist, to come on this ship because she wants to have her last story written or whatever. And this woman supposedly is inviting like her closest friends onto this luxury ship. So Keira Knightley, being the journalist that she is, goes on this ship. So there are a lot of characters that they introduce here. First of all, I love Keira Knightley, but this was not the vehicle for her. They didn't do her justice on this. Sorry, phone call it. It's probably Hollywood calling me saying, what are you doing? Anyway, they didn't do her justice on this. This was not the vehicle to showcase her. I really didn't think it was. They have all these other characters they introduce. And while that's great, you obviously need different characters. And they were interesting. but you didn't learn anything else about them. They were just kind of props. There was one guy that actually shows up to this yacht and, he's on his own speedboat and the music's blaring and he's almost like the dude, and he comes aboard and you're like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be interesting. No, he leaves the next day and you don't even hear anything about him. Gosh, my agent is just calling me all the time. Anyway, you don't find anything else about him. There are other characters there that seem interesting that are just, maybe you hear a couple words from them. So it was kind of odd that way. Then this woman in cabin 10 was supposedly like this woman that Kira runs into because she accidentally goes into this woman's cabin and then sees her thrown overboard the next night or that night, right? First of all, it's interesting, but it's not, because no one seems to know who she is. No one's coughing up to it, right? Keira Knightley's like going crazy, like someone has to believe me, someone has to believe me. Her ex-boyfriend, Keira Knightley's boyfriend's on the ship, so he's like, maybe, but Keira Knightley breaks into this cabin 10. She finds a big clue. Like, everything's clean, right? Everything's spotless except for she finds a clue. She digs it out of like the drain, the hair in the drain in the sink, and she's like, look, this is my proof, right? And then she puts it back in the drain. I mean, I don't care if you're a travel journalist or why would you put it back in the drain? Well, of course she comes back to the room and it's gone. Who knew, right? This entire movie is based on no one believing Keira Knightley, and there's this big secret going on and things like that. The entire movie also is just her breath. The poor girl is going to pass out. I mean, seriously, she is hyperventilating. And there were just large things that just didn't make sense, right? She's at one point in a smaller boat, she jumps overboard or whatever, and she washes upon shore, and she's like struggling, and it's getting dusk, and she finds this like little shack, right? This little shack on the edge of this shore, and she gets in there, and lo and behold, guess what? The firewood is still good. There's matches that aren't damp, so she lights a fire, and then there's clothes for her. Ooh, warm clothes that fit Keira Knightley perfectly. And then all of a sudden she walks out after trying to warm herself, walks out like 3 feet, and she's at this big banquet. It didn't make sense. I didn't care about the thriller. I thought the characters were underdeveloped. Keira Knightley, you're wonderful. I didn't think this was the right vehicle for you. It felt like it should be because they were showcasing only Keira Knightley. But you can't really shine unless the entire film shines, right? You can't really shine unless the other characters around you also shine and have a purpose. There was no other purpose to that. The other characters. This was not good. And Keira Knightley, please do something else. I think you're a tremendous actor, and this was just not the right vehicle. So, 0 reels. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.